Hey everybody, this is Alzorath, and welcome to another episode of Duelyst. Today we are going to be playing a slightly modified Abyssian deck. We are still doing tests on our own personal build. I like to have my own deck before I start net decking and stuff like that because it lets you understand the game a little better. Let's go ahead and click play. It's still called Abyssian Test, but we have changed it rather drastically. We've gotten rid of certain cards, added other cards, and I'm going to say this Abyssian Test. Whenever I say it fast, it just comes out as Abyssian Test. So I apologize for that. I know what it is pronounced like. It's just I talk fast whenever I start going. So let's go ahead and click start and see what we're going to be doing here. Found an opponent right away. We're against Scraick, who's playing, I think that's, I'm forgetting its name all of a sudden, Vetruvian. There we are. As far as openers go, this actually isn't that bad, so we'll go ahead and confirm this. It doesn't really give us exactly what we want, but it will do for what we need. Let's go ahead and we will get out a mana crystal. We're going to actually throw it up here towards the top, just in case we get a chance to actually get there, and we're going to go ahead and end turn. He might have something a little bit better to deal with us, but we have some cheap guys here. We're actually carrying these ephemeral shrouds. This one is actually based more around swarm than the previous deck, so you'll get to see that take a little bit of effect. He didn't drop that on the mana crystal, oddly enough, so we are going to take advantage of that. Okay, we've got 4 there. Let's go ahead and we'll move this up. That gives us 5. That'll allow us to move here, and that'll pay for itself. And we'll go ahead and we'll cast this there to turn that into a Wrathling. Just get some guys out. We're up against a fairly similar level opponent here, so we might end up having a little bit of trouble dealing with them, but let's go ahead and end turn there. We've got some disenchant guys. We've also got, we've got our combo here, Blood Moon Priestess and Shadow Dancer, both of them very good allies. I actually stole a little bit of this concept from Fork's deck, which you can check out his channel. I'll provide a link down below if I remember. If not, you can remind me, Fork, because I know you watch these. And our opponent is deciding what to do. We've established a weak battlefront here. We've got a little bit of damage here and there, little ones and twosies all over the place. And he's going to want to get rid of this guy's ability before killing him because, well, it'll summon a Shadow Creep, which limits his movement because, well, the more Shadow Creep I get, the worse it's going to hurt for him. General damage is... Oh! Okay, whenever your general damages a minion, that minion gets -2 attack and general gains +2 attack. Okay. So we need to get rid of that real quick. So let's go ahead and we will throw down... I think we want to move back. And we want to drop out... Let's drop a Blood Moon Priestess back behind us, I believe. Or do we want her in front? That's a tough decision. I'm going to put her behind us just so she'll have a chance to summon out more. And we'll go ahead and start beating on him just a little bit. It's going to cause a little bit of a hassle here. We're going to get rid of one of these ephemeral shrouds as well, just in case we get a 1-cost guy. We do not, but we do get some Wrathlings back behind us, and we are damaging his weapon there, I believe. Yep, it's down to 2. He's got up to 8 attack, so yeah, we're going to be taking a boatload of damage here. Let's go ahead and end turn. He's not going to be able to get straight to our allies, which is a good thing. We're going to throw down some Sarlaccs as well, which is a really good drop there. Oh, Hellstone Howler. That kind of sucks a little bit. We can drop out a Dispel on it, though, which should work out all right. Let's go ahead and we will do that. Let's drop out him there and disenchant that, just so we can get up here and start dealing with this. And we'll drop her out and get a nice rush on his face. Boom. That's going to deal 8 damage to my ally, but it's also going to break his weapon there. Bleh. And he's back down to 2. We get another little Wrathling here, so let's go ahead and start moving these guys up. That's going to be at least the goal right now. We are going to move... not entirely sure I want both the Sarlaccs, but we can go ahead and start smacking on this guy a little bit. And yeah, he's going to be a little bit of a hassle, but we have guys to deal with that. And she's protected back behind him, so yeah, our hero's going to take a bit of the brunt of the attack here. We're going to summon out Wrathlings in the way, and just kind of make a big, ugly meat shield here. And he's going to want to attack her, probably. Or is he going to attack me? Oh, he's going to make provoke again. Okay. So are you going to attack me or are you going to attack her? Oh, you are going to attack me. That is fine by me. And his general gets +3 attack, which means he's coming after me for like a toe-to-toe kind of battle here. Yeah, he's just going straight for the hero. That is slightly painful. But we're up to 7 resources now. Let's go ahead and we will go like this. Boom. Which is going to summon a guy down below us, I think. Yep. Let's go ahead and just keep beating on this provoke guy as much as we can. Boom. We're just going to keep summoning up more wraithlings in the way as we kill him with the provoke. Kill the big provoke guy with little 1/1s. Boom. There you go. And while he has 5 attack, that is going to suck just a little bit. And since both of them died, we actually get 2 more wraithlings. Question is, what do we want to do with 7? We could summon out a provoke guy and summon a bunch of wraithlings around him. I think that's going to be our plan right now. In fact, yeah, let's do the provoke guy. Let's put him... we'll put him back behind it, and then we'll summon a bunch of wraithlings. Bop, 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 and bop. Then we'll move this guy back just a little bit. It will reduce the little summon areas that we have for her, but it should work out all right. And we're going to go ahead and throw a Sarlacc down as well. And then we're going to actually end turn there. The reason being I want him to kill this guy. So yeah, I don't want this one dead just yet. I want to drop down a Shadow Dancer, possibly another Sarlacc the Immortal in his way. So he's pretty much swarmed up, and he has options. He probably has... Well, he has a full hand, too, so he definitely has options. The question is, what do we want to do to him? We need to drop out the Shadow Dancer next, so we can start throwing these guys down and just totally start waylaying on him. Thankfully, he did not get a Provoke there, I don't think. Nope, he's going to give it Provoke. Okay. That sucks a little bit, but I think we can deal with it. That thing's going to have Provoke and be targeted by those guys. It's got a pretty decent boost there, and we've got a Pyromancer as well. So we've got to start dealing with this right away. Let's go ahead and we will throw down the Shadow Dancer. We'll throw her down here at the very... Actually, we'll throw her down here, get a little bit of mana back. Yeah, because mana doesn't hurt. Let's go ahead and we will start... Let's start getting this thing a little bit ugly for him. There's a little bit of damage there. There's a little bit of damage there. I think we might be able to kill him this turn just by going through all of his guys. Okay, and then we've got one more coming after this. I think this may be game over for him, because he's going to be taking a boatload of damage this one turn. I think this might be a one-turn kill. Oh, nope, he's going to go ahead and concede. We are slowly going through all of our guys, and that is how this deck works out. I'm going to actually show you guys how I design the deck currently. I welcome critique on it, because this is obviously not the most refined deck, but it works for me. So let's go ahead and click done. Going to get our little... chevron there and go ahead and click done there. A little bit of gold for first one of the day. And let's go to our collection. This is Abyssian Test. I'm here with the main character. It's Blight Chaser. You don't really have options for generals just yet. I would be interested in seeing what they have for plans for future generals, because that would be really interesting for each one. But as far as allies go, I'm going to be going with the Abyssal Crawler, which is whenever he dies, he summons a Shadow Creep. He's a good 1-cost guy. He's a 2 damage, 1 life character. It's gonna die real easily, but it's also gonna summon Shadow Creep, which works well with other abilities in this deck. I've got Crystal Wisp, which is almost an auto-include for ramping up, because you gain 1 permanent core whenever it comes in. It can kind of negate the disadvantages you get from going first, and it can actually ramp you up even faster if you're going second. Ephemeral Shroud. It's a Dispel. It's just plain and simple. It's a Dispel and a guy. That's kind of the main thing I was looking for with this character, is I wanted guys out to die so they can start taking advantage of Death Watch abilities. Ephemeral Shroud is going to go ahead and dispel things like Provoke, Range, Blast, etc. I keep 3 of them. I am tempted to take the one that dispels everything around it, but then I'd have the issue of possibly dispelling my own like Abyssal Crawlers and stuff like that, or even my Rock Pulverizers, because I do summon a lot of things in a cluster. That does bring me to the next character, which is the Rock Pulverizer. So far, all of these are 3 ofs. I only have 1 2 of, and that's because I couldn't afford more of it. The Rock Pulverizer is just a cheap provoke guy. You can drop it down, you can distract a hit with it, and it can kind of slow your enemy down just enough for you to get even more overwhelming force. I don't really have a need for a bigger provoke guy, although I could possibly go with that, but it would kind of mess with my curve, because right now you can see my curve is actually relatively high for a... well, pretty much any deck. Honestly, you'd want more in 2 and 3 than I actually have, and less in the upper levels, but we're going to go ahead and stick with that for now. I'm going for consistency with this deck. You have Starlight the Eternal, which I only have 2 of. He dies and then is reborn immediately. So he summons a copy of the original card, not the re-manifested card. So if you give him buffs, he's not going to summon back with those buffs. He's going to summon back as a 1/1 in a random location. So you can really kind of feed this guy into these Death Watch loops that are really quite powerful. Having 2 of these guys is nice. I kind of want to get a 3rd one, but I don't have the spirits for it just yet. You have Night Sorrow Assassin, which is a rush minion. I keep her around as sort of like a direct damage spell almost. She's gonna die, she's gonna trigger Death Watch, and she's gonna deal 4 damage, and she's gonna also damage equipment like you can see in some of the matches. So she's pretty useful in that regard. Now, this deck so far just doesn't really deal with big guys. That's one reason why I pack things like Ritual Banishing. Ritual Banishing, I can sacrifice a minion and it destroys an enemy minion. That's 2 Death Watch triggers, and it also destroys an enemy minion. It can be anything from weak to strong. It doesn't matter. It can take care of pretty much anything. So I keep that around. I usually sacrifice a Wrathling to it and kill off the other guys. Soul Shatter Pack is just, once I've swarmed the board, I can use that as a finisher. I only have 2 of them in here. I might reduce it even to 1. It's not something I use a whole lot of, but it is very powerful when you do use it. It can be used as a good finisher. The win con is pretty much either Soul Shatter packed with a bunch of Wrathlings, or Wraithlings, depending on how you want to pronounce it, or killing them with things like the Shadow Dancer Bomb like I did just then. You also have Wraithling Swarm, which is summons 4 Wraithlings nearby each other. You saw how that works. It does get overwhelming on the board, and when combined with Blood Moon Priestesses, it can actually be extremely, extremely powerful, because those Wraithlings will just keep resummoning, and going after the enemy if you can keep them away from your Blood Moon Priestess. And having 3 Blood Moon Priestesses, since they're not unique, you can summon multiples of them. So you can actually have these things multiplying if you actually get enough of them out. Usually doesn't get to that from my experience. We do have Abyssal Juggernaut for an alternate win condition here. The alternate win condition is Shadow Creep. And he basically, if he destroys an enemy, it summons Shadow Creep in its place. This makes him a very big target, especially whenever you drop him down in the middle of some enemies. They will try to kill him before he can kill anything, because they don't want more Shadow Creep on the ground. Because Shadow Creep, essentially, it multiplies the damage as you gain more. Like, if you have 4 of them, it deals 4 damage. If you have 2 of them, it deals 2 damage. If you have 9 of them, it deals 9 damage. So it's pretty powerful as you get more Shadow Creep out, and they have to deal with that Shadow Creep or risk you Shadow Nova-ing under their hero and killing them off in 1 hit. Blood Moon Priestess, you saw her used fairly early on in that last match. She's got the Death Watch of summon a 1/1 Wraithling in a nearby random space, which is very nice. That actually, whenever things die, you get a lot of Wraithlings, especially whenever things are trading like that. That's why I kept her kind of towards the back. I don't want her dying. I want her churning out those Wraithlings so I can just throw them forward. They're just going to be a meat wall flying at the enemy. They are cannon fodder. That's what they're there for. They're there to trigger more Death Watches, such as the Shadow Dancer. Once you get a whole bunch of the Wraithlings down, the Shadow Dancer can actually deal damage to the general in mass amounts. You can deal 20, 30 damage in a turn with Shadow Dancers. If you can't summon 2 Shadow Dancers in a turn, but just summoning 1 and you kill off 10 guys. With a Blood Moon Priestess out, you've replaced 5 to 8 of those Wraithlings that have died, and you've dealt 10 to however many damage that you lost of guys. So yeah, that's a big swing of damage there. We have Dark Transformation here. You saw me use that early on. I'm kind of hesitant to keep it in here or not. It's a really good one, and it does get you a Wraithling minion, and that is very powerful in and of itself. It is a little bit more expensive than the Ritual Banishing, but it doesn't cost you a guy. It also doesn't have the exact Death Watch benefit of the other one. It only has 1 death as a result of it, but it does get you a guy out that you can boost with, like Soul Shatter Pack, or that you can sacrifice to the Ritual Banishing. So you can chain those up pretty easily, and since you can get up to, I think it's 9 crystals, or mana as I call it, because, well, I'm used to magic. Once you get up to that many resources, you can actually cast out a decent number of stuff. You could do either 2 Dark Transformations or a Dark Transformation followed up by a Ritual Banishing, utilizing that 1 Wraithling to kill off another guy, which is kind of good. And as a kind of coup de grace to my alternate win condition, which is the non-swarm, it's the Shadow Creep win condition, I keep 3 Shadow Novas in here that combine well with the Abyssal Juggernaut and the little Abyssal Crawlers. Those kind of build up into a decent amount of Shadow Creep, so I have essentially 2 major win conditions. One is creature-based, one is creep-based, and it seems to work out pretty good. I'm not sure whether it's going to take me up into the super high rankings or anything like that, but this seems like a fairly solid build. If you guys have critique or ideas on how to improve it, I would welcome it. I should note the reason why the Rock Pulverizer instead of the Swamp Entangler is because the Rock Pulverizer can actually survive a good number of enemies' hits, whereas the Swamp Entangler just dies in one hit, and you're pretty much always guaranteed to have at least 2 mana crystals at any given time. So, if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time whenever we take this Abyssian deck even further into, well, experimentation in Duelyst Alpha. But yeah, keep gaming, have fun, peace out. This has been Alzorath. Bye.